And welcome back to The Count. I'm Heather Childers along with Steve Cortez. We have a date, but will it happen? Should it happen? Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer now says that the impeachment trial for former President Trump is scheduled for February 8th. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi expected to bring the single article of impeachment to the Senate on Monday. And joining us now for some legal analysis is constitutional law attorney and GOP strategist Amir Benno and distinguished university professor at Touro College, Thane Rosenbaum. Welcome on this Saturday night to both of you. Thane, I'll start with you. Is this legal under the Constitution to be having this trial after the president has already left office?
Heather, look, if we look at Article 2 of the Constitution that deals with the impeachment provisions, it's clear that its remedy that it's seeking, that the Senate gets to achieve if they convict the president, is to remove him from office. That's its principal purpose. Yes, after they remove him from office, they can have a separate vote to disqualify him from running again. But in this instance, we would have this legal fiction where the Senate is conducting a trial against a former president who is now a private citizen for the ostensible purpose of removing him from office, an office he no longer has. So the Senate would essentially have it would be a show trial. We're trying to convict him to remove him from office so we can get to the second vote, which is the one we really care about, is to disqualify for him from office. And the one case that you can even argue that gives them precedent, there really isn't, is a case with a Secretary of War in the 19th century who, when the Senate, he had already resigned, when the Senate tried to convict him, guess what happened, Heather? He was acquitted. And you want to know why? Because the senators didn't think they had jurisdiction over
That's right.
He was no longer in office.
Process at that point, right?
Yeah. Right, he was no longer in office.
Amir, I want to bring you in because certainly, you know, what Thane is saying there, I think makes a lot of sense legally speaking. But you're not just a constitutional lawyer; you're also a political strategist. What about the politics of this, though? Isn't it possible for President Trump to actually turn this to his advantage? Can he effectively put the Senate on trial in this upcoming trial?
Well, he certainly can. I mean, it will, because it's going to sort of redound to his benefit if this trial goes forward. I think people are frustrated at the Democrats' relentless attack on him, and at some point they have to close the book on President Trump and move forward. And the refusal to do that and to sort of dredge up now what is the prior administration, I think, is going to infuriate people. They're going to stop all of the business of the Senate. The one thing, in order to do this, the one thing I do want to point out that in remarking on what Thane was just saying is that there's this case that they rely on, which is Secretary of War, who tried to avoid impeachment by resigning. And they voted, the Senate voted in that case that they did have jurisdiction. They did ultimately, as he said, was correct. They did acquit him. And many of them voiced a concern about jurisdiction. But I think the critical point here is that he resigned to avoid being in office, so he couldn't be removed, so he couldn't be impeached. It also had to do with an appointed officer. Those are the two critical distinctions here. President Trump was elected. He was not appointed. And the second thing is his term of office ended by virtue of the fact that he was not reelected and his term expired. He did not resign, and so he wasn't trying to avoid the impeachment process. But those are two critical legal distinctions from the prior Senate history, and I think that those are what the jurisdiction of the Senate is going to turn on here.
But the thing is, at this point, you know, we keep arguing back and forth, and everyone I've spoken to on this show, including both of you and Alan Dershowitz and others, Tom Cotton as well, feels the same way, that they shouldn't even be having this, but they've now set a date. Nancy Pelosi walking over, we'll see how she walks them over, the article of impeachment on Monday. Could all of this not happen still, Thane?
It could, but I have to tell you, Heather and Steve, I think the Democrats, they're playing with fire because you're talking, this is going to come across as an end zone celebration. If they don't have 17 votes, they better really be sure they can convict, because this is only going to play into 75 million Trump voters who will see this as a witch hunt. They felt disenfranchised, that their votes did not count as much as mail-in voters. They're being told that merely by demonstrating or questioning their election, they're white supremacists.
Right.
And now they're being told that the one person that has galvanized their interest in the democratic process is someone we can't even vote for anymore.
Right.
And I don't see how you can build national unity
listen,
by doing that.
I certainly agree with your legal opinion, and I respect it, and I think it's constitutional and logical. But I will tell you, the political side of me, for the reasons you just outlined, actually wants this trial because I think it's going to turn on the Democrats. I think the Senate is going to be on trial more than Donald Trump is going to be on trial, particularly if the president does this the right way. But listen, Amir Benno, Thane Rosenbaum, thank you very much for being our guest tonight. Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thank you.
And now we're turning front and center of President Biden's COVID vaccine push, a sharp contrast to a few months ago. More on the COVID contradiction coming up. The count is back after the break.